Hey guys, I'm back. Haven't been posting a video in a while. I'm not really a consistent person when it comes to posting videos. I just post whenever I feel like it, you know. So I was taking a shower earlier and I just thought, oh my gosh, like I should probably post a video. So then I thought, well, what could I post about? And I thought, oh, let me tell them about that time that I was talking to a guy who already had a girlfriend. So I thought, why not? Perfect story time. So let's just jump right into the story. So, I am in my third year, the first semester of my third year in college, and I just turned 20. So, this was like 2 years ago when this happened. Just wanted to like talk about it, even though it was like a while ago. I still wanted this. I wanted to talk about it. So, anyways, I was starting my freshman year of college, and I was in a math class. It was an intermediate math class. So it was a math class that I was required to take, but the credit hours did not count because it was not an actual class that would have went towards my major. And I was required to take this class because in the beginning of the year you're supposed to take a test and there's like a reading, writing, and math portion of it. So I've never been good at math even as a child, and I took the test multiple times and I still did not pass the math portion. So they said you either have to keep retaking it until you pass or you take this intermediate class. I took the test like 5 times and I still didn't pass that part, so I just took the intermediate class. So anyways, just wanted to let you guys know that. So anyways, since it was my first year, I didn't have much, like I knew some people there, but I wanted to make some new college friends. So then I was like, oh hey, I'll sign up for some clubs. That's a great way to make new friends. So then there was this club called actually, let me not say the actual name of the club because I don't want to, like, it's a privacy. So it was a Bible study club. So it was a club about church and God, and I'm like, that's great. I love church. I love being a Christian. I love God. So yeah, I'll sign up. Why not? So I signed up, and they sent me a notification on my phone saying like, hey, we're meeting up at this time at this place, and we're gonna have some free food. Come and join us so we can talk about the Word of God. I'm like, okay, cool. So I went there and, met some new great people. Like, wow, like, these people, college friends, we're talking about God and everything like that. This is great. So then there was this guy there, and we're gonna give him a fake name. This is not his real name, but we're just gonna let's call him Eric. That's not his real name, but that's just what we're gonna call him. So I saw Eric and I said, oh, hi, nice to meet you. And I introduced myself. He's like, oh, hi, introduced himself. And, told him, he's like, oh, like, asked me questions about myself, like small talk, like, oh, like, I told him I'm a freshman here, I'm taking these classes, stuff like that. And I told them, hey, you guys, I'm taking a math test. Can you please, like, pray for me, make sure I do good? And then I failed the math test. Shocker. So I failed my first math test, and I told them, man, I failed my math test, like, I'm struggling, I don't understand the information. So then Eric said, oh, well, I'm really good at math, so if you need any help, I'll be more than happy to help you out. So I was like, okay, cool, like, yeah, you can totally help me out with my math class. So then he said, oh, like, do you want to, like, schedule a time to, like, meet up so we can do some one-on-one time? I said, okay, he's like, what are you doing after, like, the Bible study meeting? I said, oh, I'm just going to go home, He's like, oh, well, we can meet up afterwards. I was like, okay, cool. So anyways, after the Bible study meeting, we went downstairs and we sat outside and we sat at this table, and there was like an umbrella. So we sat at this table and I showed him my math review. And, he was going over the equations, explaining it to me, telling me, oh, this is the formula for this and stuff like that. So we sat there for like a good, like, maybe hour or so. And then I said, okay, well, I gotta start heading home. He's like, okay, well, just in case if you have any questions or if you don't understand anything, let me know. Here's my number. So I was like, okay. Saved his number. And then, like, he texted me saying, hey, it's Eric. So I saved his number. So, anyways, long story short, let me just kind of speed it up a bit. Don't want to make this video too long. So he was texting me, but, he was, at first, it was like normal. It was an innocent conversation. Like, it was just about, like, math homework, the review, just telling me like, oh, do you have any questions on anything? Are you understanding all of the information? I'm just like, yeah, I'm kind of getting it. I'm getting it. So then, since he has my number, he continues to constantly text me. And then the conversation turned from like math homework to very like, he was being very flirtatious. And he started showering me with a bunch of compliments like, oh my gosh, like, you're so beautiful, you're so pretty, like, you're a woman of God, and like, you're amazing, you have a kind heart, just showering me with a bunch of compliments. I'm like, oh, like, thank you. Like, I was like, wow, he's really nice. Like, oh, thank you, like, you're so sweet, that's like he was being nice. I'm like, cool, you're being nice, you're cool, I like you. So, he kept on doing it. So like, I could tell like, okay, obviously this guy's interested in me. Like, it was pretty obvious, like, there was no hiding it. So, I really wasn't feeling that way about him, because I really wasn't looking for a relationship. I just wanted help with my math homework. That was the reason why I gave him my number. But that's how people trick each other to give each other a number, like, oh yeah, I'll help you with the assignment. But I seriously did want help on the math homework, and he did help me somewhat, but he really wasn't that helpful. So anyways, let's speed it up a bit. So I did good on the rest of my math tests. A's, B's, did fantastic. So then the end of the semester comes up for final exams. So, he was like, hey, we should FaceTime each other, and, I can help you with your exam, your review. So he had the same review that I did, and we were on FaceTime. So he flipped the camera to where it wasn't on FaceTime where I could see his face. He flipped it to where he was showing me the paper, the math paper, and he was working out the problems and explaining it to me. So I was like, okay, yeah, I kind of understand it. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm done studying, I'm done studying, like, I'll finish the rest tomorrow. So I was like, okay, so can we just, like, talk for a bit? I said, sure, let's talk. And, he was like, I really like you, and, he told me he liked me. And I was like, okay. So at first I was like, I don't know if I like him like that, I mean, I only met him, like, in the beginning of the semester. I really don't know anything about him. I barely knew anything about him. I didn't know about his family, I didn't know any personal information about him. I just knew, like, he was a Christian, and that, he was taking a math class, and he wanted to study business like I did. So that's all I knew. Didn't know much. Okay. So anyways, I thought, oh, I don't like him. This isn't going to work. But then I thought to myself, well, wait, I wasn't being fair. Like, I haven't given him a chance. I haven't gotten to know him. How am I going to say that I don't like him when I don't know anything about him? So I'm like, okay, well, let me give him a chance. So I started asking him questions like, oh, what's your opinion on this? What's your opinion on that? When did you first become a Christian? When did you, like, and he was asking me questions too and stuff like that. So then a little bit into the FaceTime, like, we're not really feeling anything. I thought, well, why would I expect to feel something? I mean, you can't have like a 30-minute conversation with someone and then decide that you like them. You got to give it a little bit more time. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not feeling it, and I just think if it's not there, then it's not there. Like, you can't force it. If it's not there, it's not there. So then, in the middle, this is where things got bad. In the middle of the FaceTime, he nonchalantly, like very nonchalantly said, oh yeah, I have a girlfriend. And I'm just like, wait, what? Like what do you mean you have a girlfriend? And I mean, like, I didn't say that to him. I was thinking this in my mind because I was completely caught off guard. And I'm just like, he has a girlfriend? Like what? Like how are you? I didn't say this to him, but I thought, how are you gonna have a girlfriend when you're over here telling me about how beautiful I am and how I'm so pretty and how you want to be with me and how you like me when you still are when you're still with somebody else? Like, I understand, like, maybe moving on, but don't go around telling, this goes for girls too. Like, this isn't just like a message towards guys, like, oh, I'm bashing the guys. Like, this goes toward girls too. Like, don't go around telling people that they're attractive and that they're sexy and that they're cute and stuff like that when you're still with somebody else. Because even though you have not had any physical connection with that person, I still feel like that is cheating, because you're looking at someone in a romantic way that's not like your girlfriend, your your boyfriend, your husband, your wife. That to me is still considered cheating. So then after the FaceTime ended, I texted him afterwards saying, hey, I wasn't sure if I liked you before, and I was trying to talk to you and get to know you to see if that was what I wanted. But I don't feel right about the fact that you're trying to talk to me and you're trying to be with me when you have a girlfriend, like that's not, I don't feel like that's not right. Like, no, if you wanted to be with me or if you were looking for somebody new, you should have ended things with her first. You can't go looking for somebody else and then have someone else, on the side. And then he texted me back saying, oh yeah, it's okay. I understand. Like, I get what you're saying. So I was like, oh, well, thank you. Thank you for being so cool about it. Okay. So then, a couple weeks later, I don't know if it was a couple weeks, I think it was like a week later, he texted me saying, hey, gorgeous, how are you? And I'm just like, what? Did this fool not understand what I told him before? I told you, do not talk to me if you still have a girlfriend. And I guess he just, either he misunderstood or just chose not to listen, but I did not respond back to him. I was like, no, I'm not responding back. And, he did this thing where, one time I was preparing, I think this was, the next semester. I was preparing for my schedule, and he texted me saying, hey, you want to hang out? And I did not have feelings for him at all. And I said, no, I have some stuff I need to do for school. And he said something, I don't remember exactly what he said, but he said something along the lines as, okay, I guess I'll just stay at home all by myself. He was he was trying to make me, sorry, I'm shaking the camera, he was trying to make me feel guilty, oh, okay, I'll just stay at home all alone by myself, okay, was that supposed to make me feel sad? Sorry, I guess you're gonna have to hang out by yourself. So, that was the first incident. Now, I hate to say this part, but it kind of got worse. So, that was my freshman year. So then after that happened, like I said, I barely knew anything about him, so I completely stopped talking to him. It does not matter how you are. If you have a girlfriend, there's no reason for us to have a conversation. So then, it's my sophomore year. So it's a year later. So, didn't really see him that much. Kind of saw him around the hallway, said hi and stuff like that. So then I took an accounting class my sophomore year. Once again, it has to do with math, and I am not good at math. So I went to the accounting tutor, and, I was in there asking for some homework help, and he was in there because, like I said, we're both business majors, so he had to take accounting as well. So he was in there, and he was like, hey. I was like, hey, how's it going? He's like, I haven't seen you in a while. What have you been up to? So, just, going to work, going to school. I'm a full-time student this year because my freshman year, I was part-time. So I was like, yeah, I'm a full-time student this year. So I told him, I'm taking accounting and I'm taking some other classes. So then, we're having a little bit of small talk. And then he said, to be honest, I never stopped having a crush on you. So, at the time, thinking about it now, it's actually, present day now, it's actually really, weird. What? You never stopped having a crush on me this entire time? But at the time I was like, oh, that's sweet, thanks. And, he's like, what are you doing after this? I said, well, I have to go to my next class, but all he does is lecture and lecture and lecture. No one actually pays attention to the class. He gives us the answers to the review, so, no one pays attention. So he's like, oh, well, I was going to see if you wanted to, chat and, talk and stuff like that. And I said, okay, well, if he's just lecturing, I'll skip the class and go and hang out with you, And I know that sounds bad. I'm not encouraging people to skip class for a guy, but this is college, you don't have to show up to class. It's not required. If it was in high school, I would have been like, no, I'm not skipping class. But, I had an A in the class, so it didn't matter. If you're able to pass the class, you can pass the class. So, anyways, skipped that class, and then he was like, hey, I'm at Subway, because we had not a Subway train, a Subway, the Subway sandwich place, Subway Eat Fresh at our college campus. So I met up with him there, and then he's like, oh, let's go get some lunch. I said, okay, like, where do you want to go? He's like, where do you want to go? And then he was like, we could go to this place, and that place, and named a bunch of places that we could. I was like, okay, let's go to On the Border. So it's like a Mexican restaurant. So we went to On the Border, and, talking stuff. The lady asked for our orders, placed the orders, and I was talking to him. We are kind of catching up, and then he was like, and at first, actually, everything was going so well. Like, he was being so nice, he was charming and stuff, and he told me about a book that he was reading about how to be successful, and I've heard of the book. I was like, yeah, I've heard of that book too. Like, yeah, I want to live a successful life. And I told him I want a business that helps people. He's like, yeah, we have that in common, and things were just going great. So a little while into the date, I said, so, what is this between us? And he's like, what do you want us to be? So he was giving me the option to decide. So then I said, can we just be dating? I don't want to make anything official. I don't want to say that, I don't want to make anything official yet. Like, I'm not sure about how I feel about it, Now, before I get even more into the story, let me clarify. Okay, sorry, had to get comfortable, because a lot of people get this mixed up. Boyfriend and girlfriend means you are in a relationship. Dating means you're deciding if you do want to be in a relationship. So, when you are dating someone, when you're talking to someone, there's a chance that things could work out between you two, but it's not official. You can date more than one person. You can talk to more than one person, but you cannot be boyfriend and girlfriend with more than one person. That is cheating. But if you are dating, then nothing is official. Okay? Because it's like, oh, I think I might like this guy or this girl, but I don't know. It might not work out. We're not a thing yet. So we can end up not working out. So just wanted to clarify that. So that's what I told him. And he said, okay, we're dating. Nothing official. And I had to go to work that day. So he said, hey, maybe I might visit you at work. I said, okay, cool. So then, so this is when things started to get bad. One of the employees came up to me and said, hey, your boyfriend's here. And, like, I thought she was just messing with me. Like, oh, okay, my boyfriend's here. I thought she was just playing with me. But I saw him walk up to me. He was like, hey. I was like, oh, hi. So you did end up coming to visit me. He's like, yeah. He's like, I think I'm going to go get some, like, food to eat. And I said, okay, yeah. Because I worked at a restaurant at the time. So then one of my friends was like, Armita, you didn't tell me you had a boyfriend. I said, what? Like, I don't have a boyfriend. He's like, oh, well, he just told me that you guys were boyfriend and girlfriend. I'm just like, what? Like, no. That's not what we discussed. And, because that wasn't what I, like, like I said, like, in the beginning, I didn't know anything about him. And I was trying to get to know more about him, and I still wasn't sure if I liked him or not. That's why I was trying to get to know more about him on a personal level. So I was like, no. And then he didn't just tell that one employee. He told the entire staff. And I'm not being over exaggerating when I say this. He told the entire staff. He told the managers. He told the assistant managers. And he even told some of the customers. I'm just like, okay, whoa. Hold on there, buddy. Like, is it really that serious? Even if we were together, why do you need to go and tell everybody all at once? Like, why can't you just let people find out naturally, Like, why was that so serious? Okay. So everybody was like, oh, that's your boyfriend. And you know how, like, people say to follow your gut? Well, when all that happened, I had a really weird feeling in my gut. Like, it didn't feel natural. Like, something's not right. Like, I had that really, like that feeling right there in my stomach, in my pit of my stomach. I felt so uncomfortable. So I was just like, no. So he stayed there until my shift ended, which was at like 10 o'clock. And I told him, hey, we're about to close the store. Like, you need to go outside. So he's like, okay, I'll wait for you outside. Okay. So then he waits for me outside. And he's like, oh, can we hang out a bit? And I said, well, I mean, You know, it's already 10:30. I can't stay too late. I have to get home, you know, because then my mom's going to wonder. Okay, sorry, you guys. I'm sitting crisscross applesauce, so I'm kind of uncomfortable. I can't, like, you know, I can't stay out all night. Like, it's almost 10:45. Like, my mom's expecting me home from work. So then he's like, oh, okay. So then he drops me off. So then the next day, it was a Saturday. And he messaged me in the morning saying, hey, I want to see you. I want to hang out with you. And I said, well, I mean, I'm going to work later on. Like, I want to rest before my shift starts. Like, can we hang out another time? Like, okay, actually, I forgot to mention. On the Friday night before, he said, oh, I want to go to church with you. And I'm just like, dang, like, already? Like, I want to meet your church friends. I'm like, well, that's kind of quick. I mean, we're not even a thing yet. Like, we only went out on one date and you already want to meet my friends. Like, that's kind of soon. But I was like, okay, fine. Yeah, you can come to church with me. So then, on that Saturday, I said, well, we're going to church together tomorrow, and we just hung out yesterday, so, like, you know, why do you want to hang out again? Like, you know, we had plenty of time to hang out. So, then, Sunday comes, and he picks me up for church. And I told him, hey, I think there's been a misunderstanding. What did you want? What are we? What are we? And he said, what do you want us to be? And I said, I want us to just be dating. I don't want there to be anything official. I don't want anything to be official yet. I just want us to date, hang out, and if things work out, then we can call each other boyfriend and girlfriend. So he's like, okay, I understand. So then when we go to church, afterwards, people see us together and they're like, oh, are you guys friends? And then he's like, yeah, no, I'm her boyfriend. And I'm just like, what the hell? Like, no, I just told you that you weren't my boyfriend. And he maliciously did it on purpose. And that's when I got mad. Because I specifically told him, no, you are not my boyfriend. Like, we're not a thing yet. Okay, so, anyways. Oh, and this is when things start to get stranger. So before the service starts, I'm on my phone watching some other YouTube videos, and there was a girl who was engaged, and she also loves fitness. And the name of her video was like, oh, getting ready for the wedding, or sweating for the wedding, like, you know, like she's working out. And I was watching it, and he kind of like, you know, looked over my shoulder to see what I was watching on my phone. And I showed him the video, and, you know, just because I was showing it to him. And then he said, why are you showing me this? Because it says marriage in the title? And I'm just like, no, I was just showing you a video. Like, I guess, like, for me showing him the video, I guess he thought that that was my way of trying to, like, you know, drop a hint that I was interested in, like, getting married to him, even though we've only been together for, like, not even together, even though we've only been dating for 3 days. Like, that's pretty soon to decide you want to marry someone, you know, don't you think? Okay, so anyways, I was talking to him again, like, small talk. The service hasn't started yet. And I was telling him, like, yeah, I think I want to get, like, a tattoo or whatever. And then he was like, if we're going to be professional business people, we can't get tattoos. Oh, well, nobody said anything about you getting a tattoo. I said I wanted a tattoo. So if you don't want a tattoo, you don't have to get one. But if I want one, then I'm going to get one. Now, I did not say that to him, but I thought that to myself. And I was just like, what? Like, you know, even if I did get a tattoo, like, I would put it somewhere where it's not visible, you know, where my clothes could cover it. You know, so it wasn't like it would have been very visible. So, anyways, that was also weird. And after church, he's like, let's go to IHOP. So I'm like, okay, let's go to IHOP. So then we go to IHOP and we are eating lunch. And there was this couple next to us, like an older couple. And they were they were coming from a Catholic church. So they were Christian. Well, they weren't Christians. They believed in God, but they were Catholic. And we were sitting next to them, and he was asking questions of them, like, you know, how long have y'all been married, you know, like, stuff like that. And they're like, oh, we've been married for, like, you know, 40 years and everything like that. And they're telling us about, like, their marriage. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. So then he's like, yeah, me and her have been together for like 3 days, like seeing each other for 3 days and stuff like that. And, all that just. And okay, so let me put this in real quick before I continue. Since we met each other, like this was, okay, so this happened when I was 19. So I'm 20 right now. So this is when I was 19. This isn't currently happening. So he was like, oh, we've known each other for a year. And I'm kind of like thinking to myself, no, we haven't. Like, we met last year. Like, I met you when I was 18, but that doesn't, and we're together again when I'm 19, but that doesn't mean we've known each other for a year. Like, as soon as I found out he had a girlfriend, I completely stopped talking to him. So I barely knew anything about him, and I didn't care to get to know him after that. So I'm like, we haven't known each other for that long. So then the older couple was like eating their food, and then he said, hey, look. And I looked over at them, like the older couple, he's like, that's us in the future. And I'm just like, what the heck? Like, the future? Like, what? Are you trying to say that we're gonna grow old together? Like, I was completely freaked out. And like I said, whenever he made comments or did gestures like that, I had that weird feeling in the pit of my stomach, like my gut telling me, like, no, no, like, this is wrong. Like, this is completely wrong. So I'm just like, that kind of creeped me out. So then we were talking over lunch, and he, I was telling him, like, I want to get my master's, like, I want to have a successful business and stuff like that. And he was saying, well, when we become successful business people, like, okay, so, sorry, I keep missing details into the story. I have financial aid. He doesn't have financial aid, and it's because his parents make too much money. That's how they decide on whether you have financial aid or not. So he's like, I'm not eligible for financial aid. So I was like, oh, well, I have financial aid. And he's like, well, when we become successful business people, our kids aren't going to be eligible for financial aid. And I'm just like, our kids? Our kids. Okay. So this is when I was just like, oh, hell no. Kids? Who said anything about having kids? I've only known you for like not even a full 72 hours, and we're already talking about having kids? Like, what? And oh my goodness. I just felt so uncomfortable. And I was just like, no, this is not right. This is not gonna work. So then it gets even worse. So he is driving me home from church, and he was talking about how, like, the pastor, like, the message about having a purpose, like, our purpose in life. And I believe my purpose in life is to help people, and so does he. So he was like, oh my gosh, everything's just working out so great between me and you. First, like, we get back together, or we reunite, or whatever he said, we reunite, and then the pastor is talking about purpose. Gosh, like, this is just, it's perfect. It's a sign from God. Like, he brought us back together. Like, I love you. Like, I love you. Like, I'll fight for you. I want to meet your mom. I want to meet your family. I want to meet your parents. I want to marry you. I want to do everything I want for you. And I'm just like, what? What? And I'm sitting in the passenger seat of the car just like, what the hell? You love me? Like, what on earth? Like, you barely know anything about me. Like, and I felt so uncomfortable. I'm just like, you don't really mean that. Like, we've barely known each other. You don't actually love me. I think it was puppy love. But he's like, no, I love you. I love you so much. Like, I love you. And I'm just like, Simon, oh, Eric, like, stop. Like, sorry, that was his last name. I was saying his last name, but I was like, Eric, like, stop. Like, no, you don't feel that way. And, so I'm just like, no, like, you don't feel that way. And he's like, yes, I do. I honestly feel that way. So then he's just like saying, I love you, I love you, I love you. He's like, you don't have to say it back. I'm like, I'm not going to say it back to you, Eric. Like, I'm not. So I'm just like, no, I'm not going to say it back to you. So it just felt completely unnatural and not right. And I was expressing to some people for advice on what I should do about the situation, and they were like, no, you need to end things with him. Like, this isn't right. If you don't feel comfortable, you need to end things with him. And it was Sunday, and I worked Sunday night, and my phone was in my bag on silent, and when I opened up my bag, I saw I had like 3 text messages from him. And I'm just like, dang, I've only been at work for 4 hours and you're already blowing up my phone. Like, you can't be away from me. So then I texted him. I called him that night saying, look, you need to slow down. Like, you need to relax. Like, you're over here talking about marriage, kids, and like the future and everything. And I haven't even decided if I wanted you to be my boyfriend yet. Like, you know? So I texted him saying, like, I need to talk to you tomorrow at school. He texted back saying, is it bad? Didn't respond. So met up with him at school. And basically everything I'm saying in this video is what I tried to tell him. Like, you need to relax. Eric, you're taking things too far. You're going too fast. I said, I think you need to learn how to be a little bit more independent. You need to learn how to be by yourself. And he told me that the longest he's been single for is a week. A week. Like, that's the longest he's been single for. So he can't even go a week without a girlfriend. So I was just like, okay, I see what the problem is. It seems like you don't know how to be by yourself. Like, you don't know how to be independent. Like, I mean, and with me saying all of this, I wasn't trying to be like rude. Like, you don't know how to be independent, you're lonely. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful at all. I'm just like, it seems like you don't know how to be, independent. Like, you don't know how to be by yourself. Like, if you break up with someone or someone breaks up with you, you don't know how to just accept it. You have to start looking for a new relationship. And when I tried to explain to him how I felt, he like, cut me off and didn't really give me a chance to finish explaining how I felt. So like, it sounded like he was mad and he didn't want to hear it from me, but it's kind of like, you really didn't have a reason to be mad, So he's like, okay, fine, like, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. And this is going to be the worst part about the story. While all of this shenanigans was happening, guess what else I found out? He had a girlfriend the entire time. Again. Oh my God. Okay, it was not the same girl. It was a different girl this time. So, I was angry at him, but I was also angry at myself for falling for this crap twice. But I thought, hey, everything that happened to me with him in the beginning, that was when I was 18. I'm 19 now. Like, that was a year ago. People change. Well, I guess that rule does not always apply to everyone. So this whole situation made me mad because he's telling me I can't do this. We're getting married. We're having kids. I'm going to meet your mom. Talking about the future and how I'm going to be his wife when he still hadn't even ended things with the previous girl. So I was completely done with him. For real this time. So, I mean, till this day, present day, I still see him around school. I actually just saw him the other day. Just said hey. He said hey. So, can't fully avoid him. So, I'm completely done with him. And if he tries to message me, if Eric tries to message me again, saying that he wants things to work out again with me and him, no, there's no more second chances. It's done. And there was actually a time where he messaged me on Facebook, and he said hey, and didn't respond to him. Blocked his number, blocked him on Facebook. I removed him as my friend. He tried to be adding me, and I ignored his requests, ignored him, just completely ignored him. So at the time when this happened, I saw him again in the accounting tutoring lab, and I was like, oh shoot, this is awkward. So then he looked at me, and then he just looked right back at his homework. So I think he finally got the hint. So yeah, that's what happened. Sorry if this video was pretty long. I wanted to explain everything that happened from beginning to end, but Eric just had some issues, and he just needs to learn how to be by himself. That's all I can tell him. So, yeah, sorry it's been a while since I posted. If you've ever had any crazy dating stories or any stories kind of related to mine, guys or girls, you know, you can totally message me or comment down below. I would totally love to hear it. Anything else, if anything similar to this has happened to you, yeah, comment about it, and I'll see you guys if I decide, or whenever I decide to make another video. So, peace out, y'all.